Chelsea have got a problem, though, haven't they? Because they keep doing their homework on players, and Barcelona are looking over their shoulder and nicking it.
Yeah. I think it was always going to be inevitable, issues with Chelsea. I mean, playing a bit of catch-up with being in limbo for sort of the previous few months of the end of last season. I don't have a problem with Todd Boehly and what he's trying to do. I think he is trying to go big. I've said to you before on talkSPORT that he has to make a statement. He has to come out and say, almost be like the beginning of the Abramovich era and say, because not just Chelsea fans are watching, but world football fans are watching, in which direction the Chelsea going to go. Because for the last 19 years, money hasn't really been an issue. So I do think there's money there. I do think he does want to spend it. But Sam, you can't force players to sign for a club if a club like Barcelona, comes in for them when perhaps that's their dream club. I do think they're very short, and I never read too much into pre-season normally, but to lose 4-0 against Arsenal and what Thomas Tuchel said after the game, slightly worrying, I have to say. And I do think there's... I never thought Chelsea would have a great chance of winning the title this particular season, but I do think they should be cementing third and getting closer to the top two, whereas at the moment, I'm slightly concerned and looking over my shoulder.
It's all going to be okay, though, Scott, because we were out for dinner last night and Sam made the claim that Kai Havertz is, quote, a world-class number 9.
I heard that. I
didn't say it exactly like that. I said he's a world-class player, and I think that he'll end up being a brilliant number 9 for Chelsea because it's a guy who turns up in big games. He scored the winner in the Champions League final. He scored the winner in the European Club Cup final. I mean, the World Club Cup final. He is a brilliant player. He's played
as a big game.
You need consistency, though.
Has Manchester United played in it recently?
Not recently, no.
Right, okay.
Have some of that, Crookie.
I think Havertz is a great player. I think he's got the potential to grow. It's taken a couple of seasons for Chelsea to get the right players around him. I think it's been a period of disruption. I think this is the season that he comes good. The reason they've put so much into him is because Tuchel believes that. They've designed a system to work for him now. He was obviously the right choice towards the end of last season. He was the preferred choice towards the end of last season. Yeah, okay, I had a couple of sherbets last night when I said he was a world-class striker.
I must admit, when I got the text through that you said that...
And now they're bringing it back to me. I mean, him and the producer couldn't wait to bring that up today.
Joe, the producer, texted me this morning. I'm sorry, mate, I'm not having that world-class. Look, he's a very good player and he has grown into being a Chelsea player, but we're 2 years down the line... He's still not prolific. In his first season, he didn't even get 5 Premier League goals.
But Chelsea aren't prolific, and Chelsea haven't been prolific for a long time. The last player to score 20 goals in a league season was Eden Hazard in 2019. I mean, look, last year's top scorer was Lukaku. Havertz just behind that with 14.
Well, let's look at Premier League only. It was Mason Mount with 11 goals, and Kai Havertz got 8. I'm sorry, mate. If Chelsea want to be closing in the gap on the top 2, you have to be scoring goals. You don't necessarily have to be having a guy who scores 20 plus, but boy, does it help. There's no one there. I mean, I'd say Raheem Sterling probably is a goal scorer, but...
Could he play as the false number 9? Is that a possibility?
He could, but I think it would be asking a lot of him to do that over the whole season. And this is where I feel, and we touched on it briefly, but I understand the argument against the Ronaldo. I do. But when you've got someone like him who in a really, really poor team... really poor team. I'm just waiting for a reaction from Crookie.
Well, I can't disagree, can I?
No, but United was so poor last season, and yet I think he scored 18 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
Now, the argument is, but it's all about him. But you can still sit him down and say, well, look, we need you to do this. Are you willing to do it? If you're not, we won't come in for you. If you are, we will. He's capable of pressing. It's not that he can't do it. He doesn't want to do it. I covered Real Madrid for 4 years. Every single game. He was a 1 and 2 touch player. He was a box player scoring goals. Now, to ask him to change that at 37 is going to be something a little bit different, but you can build a team around that where you look at Thomas Tuchel when he came in. He won the Champions League and got Chelsea back into the top 4.
So you think they should
on the basis of a good defence, not necessarily scoring goals. Defence isn't good at the moment. And we haven't got the goals.
Okay, so you think they should go big for Ronaldo, yes?
Yes.
Right, okay. Should they go big for Wesley Fofana as well? This is a guy who's got a 5-year contract at Leicester City, someone who yesterday, one of his mates decided to, rather unhelpfully, I think, for Wesley Fofana, put a picture of him in a Chelsea shirt from 2004 on an Instagram page. I don't think that Leicester City will be too happy about that, bearing in mind it was one of Fofana's mates. But anyway, do you think Chelsea should play over the odds and go and grab him?
I think they might have to. When you look at the list of targets, obviously couldn't get a deal done for Nathan Ake, Jules Koundé on his way to Barcelona, Kimpembe from Paris Saint-Germain, not particularly keen. Well, they've set the benchmark, Leicester, with Harry Maguire. I think it's going to take £80 million.
Worth betting?
That's too much.
He's got 5 years left on his contract. Too much. Well, they're not going to sell him then.
They're not going to sell him.
So what do you do?
And you've got a player as well who was seriously injured last season. So you're asking him to step up when maybe he's still not quite 100% fit.
So Chelsea at the moment are going to start with Azpilicueta as one of the
he wants
defenders.
to leave.
He's not going to leave now because Barcelona have signed Koundé, so he's got no chance of going there. So it's Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, combined age of about 87, and Koulibaly, who's not far behind, actually, to be honest.
Well, Trevor Chalobah, I actually think has done really well since he's come into the Chelsea first team.
If you're talking about elite level.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not, and that's what I'm saying. They do need to find a way. So they're not
good enough at the back. They're not good enough up front. They're in trouble then, aren't they?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Listen.
Andy Jacobs thinks he'll finish 10th.
No. Look, I
never won for overreacting.
The window. Thomas Tuchel wants his players in now, and he would want, if he wants it for Fofana, he doesn't care how much. If he costs 100 million, he doesn't care. He's playing Football Manager.
What does it matter?
It doesn't matter to him. He just wants the right players in, and I do get that. I still think you've got a long way until the window closes. I think by the time the window closes, proper players will be in place. But then you're talking about the start of a season that's already happened, and how are Chelsea going to start that season? And it's not easy for players to come in and hit the ground running.
Are they paying the price? Is Todd Boehly paying the price because he's basically trying to play real-life Football Manager? He's bought the football club. He's installed himself as master of ceremonies in terms of buying players, in terms of selling players.
That is a really simplistic way of looking at it. There's obviously a reason why Todd Boehly, who spent over £2 billion on the actual club and committed to £1.75 billion to the future of the club, has come in and cleared the decks in terms of the executive board.
But he should have had replacements
There's a reason that he's done that at almost a rapid rate that he wasn't expecting to do it. Because when he bought the club, he did a deal with at least two of those people to stay on until the end of the transfer window. They changed their mind for a reason. We don't know what that reason is, but obviously there was something that happened that made him do that. So he was unprepared for that eventuality, and now he's trying to react to it.
He shouldn't have been unprepared.
I agree.
He shouldn't have been unprepared for an unforeseen event, which meant he had to remove the top level of the executive board.
Are you telling me there's nobody there who could have come in as interim director of football to steer them through the transfer window?
What was the unforeseen event?
Well, we don't know, because they had agreed.
Something happened which meant that Mourinho and Bruce Buck and Petr Cech had to go.
That appears to be the case, because otherwise, why would they have left so quickly when they'd all agreed to stay on?
Well, maybe because Todd Boehly wanted full control straight away.
Do you think that was the case?
I personally would have kept them in, certainly for this window.
Yeah, and I think that was the initial idea, wasn't it?
If not, I would definitely have had someone in place to say, right, okay, you're going to be my man or woman to sort the dealings out.
They've definitely lost a lot of expertise unexpectedly at the top of the organisation.
Also, tell me this. What has Todd Boehly achieved by his schmoozing of certain top-level executives? We know he met George Mendes. That's where the Ronaldo rumour started. He also met Juan Laporta in Barcelona. What's he achieved from that? Just allowing Juan Laporta to come in and nick all his targets. What is the point in that meeting?
Listen, he's got to get to know people of Europe and England as well. I mean, he's coming in from America. I'm not overly criticising him here. I do think he should have had someone in place, or he should have kept the people already who were at the club. But I do think he's trying to do the right thing. I'd much rather an owner wanting to overspend a little bit, which I think he is. I go back to the fact you can't force players to go to a club that don't want to go to a club. Barcelona, for all the financial problems they have, are still clearly an incredibly attractive club.
Are the best owners not the ones that you don't know much about? You know, the ones that hide away from the limelight.
Like the Glazers?
Not the Glazers.
Like the Glazers.
I'm thinking of Manchester City. I'm thinking of Liverpool. How many times do you see them
cheap shots,
left, front and centre?
No, but how can he not be in the headlines? He's just taken over Chelsea. He's going to be.
I think he's
coming in, and this is his first window, so he's wanting to get the right players. I genuinely think, and I think he's right by bringing in Thomas Tuchel even more, who, generally speaking, has been a head coach, but at the moment is now a manager. I think he wants a Ronaldo, but it's Thomas Tuchel who says no. And as much as I think Chelsea
Therefore,
would benefit,
he shouldn't have even entertained that conversation.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.